Welcome back to the next video, guys. I'm at a point now where I've basically prepped all the parts like I mentioned in the previous video. I've glued together the main body sections like you see over here. There's a specific way to do it. There it is detailed in the build document, but I'll just go through it very quickly. These parts are all specific for where they go. So just look at the image on the build document where it shows these parts, these fins, and you see where they go. But the bottom ones are quite obvious because one is short, okay, and one is like a half square. Okay, so what I did first over here was I glued the top section onto the lower section like I explained, and then I filled the edges, and then once that was done, sanded down, painted it to make sure it looked good. And then I pushed the pipe in, the pipe you get with the kit, I pushed that through halfway, so that went up to that point, and then I use a rubber band and I joined the two middle sections, and I push them on as a guide for where the front of the fin sits. And then I started with the top, and these run at an angle, they're slightly bent, so they bowed. So what I did was with this front section against the central section, I put glue on around the edge, and then I put it into place. It does line up, there is a line where it goes, it clips in, and these are specifically angled for where they go, so that's why I say they have to be in the right spot. Use epoxy glue and then held it down so it was touching the main body until it dried. Then I did the clean up and fill up. I haven't sanded this down yet, and I did the same with this one. For the bottom ones, what I did was I did the small square one first because it sits quite nicely in its area. I used this as a guide without gluing it. Once that was dry, I did the small one, short one, and then the long one, and that's the result. Okay, it's very sturdy, and it sits flush against the central section. Okay, as for cleanup and preparation, this engine block, I sanded down this way that you can see the steps from the printing. I'm yet to sand it down, but I'll sand it down and then fill as needed. The side section might need the same, I'll see once I painted. Top and bottom not really, because this gets covered by the top engine mount since it goes straight in. Okay, it's closed up the whole area. So does this, and this area where it gets closed up. I prepped all the parts, sanded them down. This is the ring that goes in the side. You can glue this in if you want to. If you're not going to do a side mount, you can glue this in. Use the images for reference to see how it goes. And this can be glued in if you want to. Okay, or can just be pushed in. Okay. Prep on the head. I got this down to a point where it sits flush and it closes nicely with the rings on the inside, because the rings have to be able to sit flush when it's closed. And even you'll note on this there is a marking, a line on the inside. That's the point to cut. The section has to be cut out to fit the interior if you're going to go for that upgrade option. So I'll do that once I've actually completed the build. Okay, so for the next video I'm going to go over the printed parts and just quickly show where they go. I'm not going to show everything, there's too many. I'll show a couple of them, and then I will show how to actually take them off their supports if you get some with supports on, because I cannot cut everything off, it will be too much work for me to prep. Okay, so that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.